So we're here just off the busy N21 Limerick to Tralee or Tralee to Limerick roadway just outside Newcastle West. And there's a monument here to one of the first Republicans, if not the first Republican to die during the 1916 Rising. And this is to Staff Captain Donal Sheehan of the Irish Volunteers. Donal Sheehan was an accountant. At the time of his death, he was 29 years of age, and his home place, was at this spot in Ballintubbard, just outside Newcastle West. Now, for those of you who don't have Irish, Ballintubbard is Balla an Tubbard, which is the place or the town of the well. So he grew up here. His parents were Michael Sheehan and Mary Finnerty. At the time, the Irish language would still have been spoken in this part of Limerick. And in fact, the local poet, Michael Hartnett, would have been probably the last native speaker of it. And he would have died, I think, in the 1990s. So Donal was very interested in one of the first kind of radical groups to come along, Conradh na Gaeilge, the Gaelic League, and the revival of the language. Through that, he became politicised, although there was a very strong Fenian tradition in this area as well, going back to the 1860s. And he joined the Irish Volunteers. He moved to London for work. He was a member of the London Company of the Irish Volunteers, but when the threat of conscription came after the outbreak of the First World War, he moved back to Ireland in 1915. He didn't come here to Newcastle West, but he went to Larkfield in Kimmage, which is where the other Londoners and London Irish who wanted to avoid conscription and take part in the 1916 Rising, they set up a garrison there known as the Kimmage Garrison, and he was the staff captain with that unit. On the 9th of April 1916, a ship set sail from the Baltic port of Lubeck. That ship was the Aud. And as anyone who's into Irish history knows, it was laden down with weapons, and it was being piloted by a German unit of the Kriegsmarine, the German Navy. And on board that ship were 20,000 captured Russian Nagant rifles. There were 1 million rounds of ammunition and 10 machine guns. And their mission was to land those rifles off the Kerry coast to arm the Irish Volunteers in the west of Ireland to take part in the 1916 Rising. Now, the largest number of unarmed Irish volunteers in the country were in places like Cork, in Limerick, and in Kerry and in Clare. So the plan was to bring the arms on shore, get them to Tralee, and there, using the railway network. And most Irish volunteers in these counties who've been given orders in 1916 had been ordered to seize railway lines so they could use trains to distribute the arms through the west. And if there was fighting both in Dublin and on the west, it would make things much more difficult for the British. Of course, the fly in the ointment was Owen MacNeill's countermanding order, which changed the date of the rebellion. So the Supreme Council of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, the leaders of the Irish Volunteers and James Connolly in the Citizen Army decided that they needed to get word to the Aud to delay the landing of the arms by 1 day. And the way they planned to do this was to send a number of volunteers down to the wireless training school in Cahersiveen in Kerry. And from there they hoped to broadcast a message to the Aud communicating this. So 2 carloads of volunteers left from Dublin on that mission and drove through the night. And in the first car were Charlie Monaghan, who was from the Markets area in Belfast. There was Con Keating, who was from Kerry, and Donal Sheehan here from Ballintubbard in Newcastle West. In the second car were Dennis Daly and Colm O'Loughlin. But what happened was, as they were driving through Kerry, the first car took a wrong turn and it drove off Ballykissan Pier and plunged into the waters. And basically, Donal Sheehan and his 2 other comrades in the car were killed pretty much instantly. The mission itself had to be aborted, but it was flawed anyway, because the key thing that the Republicans in Ireland did not know is that the Aud did not have a wireless station. So even if they had completed their mission and broadcast to the Odd, those on the Odd would never have been able to hear it. And of course, we know what happens as a result. The Odd is ultimately captured by the British Royal Navy. It's being taken into Cork Harbour, and it's taken into Cove, and on its way in, those on board decide basically to scuttle it, and that cargo of 20,000 rifles, million rounds of ammunition and 10 machine guns ends up at the bottom of the harbour in Cork rather than being used by the volunteers on the west coast in 1916. And this memorial to Donal Sheehan was unveiled by Mike Dwan in 1966, and he was head of the Newcastle West Old IRA Committee, a veterans association.